brings up a good point. This is not, do not take anything based on me saying it. That's why I've given you all the catechism paragraphs and all of that like this. I'm sharing with you the church's teaching. And my hope is that all of us as priests, that's what we do. We share the church's teaching and not our own views necessarily, especially if they are in contradiction with the church's teaching. Okay, so we've got two more topics that I'll touch on. Two that are certainly very much in the news and in society, and very, very difficult. And again, I know that we probably have loved ones, or maybe even we ourselves have struggled with some of these things, and my heart breaks for you. And if I can be of any assistance to you, please know that I would like to. I have walked with many people who struggle maybe with same-sex attraction or gender identity issues. So if you need that help, or you know someone who does, I'd be willing to sit with them. Okay, so the next topic is same-sex marriage, and my suggested book for you is Father Mike Schmidt's book, Made for Love: Same-Sex Attractions and the Catholic Church. So if you're not familiar with Father Mike Schmidt's, he's done the book, the Bible in a Year, and the Catechism in the Year, those two podcasts, which were really, really good. And this book can be very helpful for you. This might be the hardest topic for some people, especially, again, if you have loved ones with same-sex attraction. But it's just important to know that the definition of marriage is not a lifelong union between two adults that love each other. In fact, there are lots of marriages that last throughout life where maybe they didn't like each other all the time. Maybe it was hard to love each other. That's not the definition of marriage. But it's rather a male and a female being brought together by God, and vowing their lives to each other through good times and in bad, exclusively, lifelong, and open to life. And it's important for us to know that we're not just spirits. We are the unity of soul and body, and our bodies were given a sex for a reason. We were made male and female so that our bodies and their union would image the Trinity. We've talked about that. Again, it's put within marriage so that the unitive can make sure the act matches the covenantal reality, and the procreative can make sure that the child has a father and a mother. Scripture has always presents marriage as between a male and a female. And it's not that there were, at the time of Jesus, that there weren't people who had same-sex attraction. There were. But Jesus and his apostles, they never changed marriage, the nature of marriage. They had the opportunity. There were other viewpoints that they changed, the other things in society that they challenged. But they didn't challenge this. They didn't change this, because it wasn't meant to be changed. The church has never changed its understanding of marriage. And the reality, society really hasn't either. It's really within the last several decades that it hasn't been defined as a male and a female in a lifelong, exclusive, open-to-life relationship. Now, in some societies, it hasn't necessarily been exclusive, and maybe the lifelong piece has not always been respected by all societies, but societies have presented marriage as between a male and a female up until recent time. And it's always been believed that a man and a woman, their union is for the good, not only of the couple, but also for humanity. It's good for society. And so it's We're not here to demean anyone or try to be unfair, but just presenting this is the reality of marriage as the church has always known it and continues to proclaim it. And the church really doesn't have the authority to redefine it. I mean, it was given to us in Scripture. It's given to us by God. It's not something that we have the power to redefine. The church recognizes that it's a cross to have this type of attraction. And it doesn't mean that that person is sinful. Just having that attraction is not sinful. The question, like everybody, is what we do with our desires. And even if we have desires that are in line with the church teaching, we can still use them in a way that isn't appropriate. And so it isn't a matter that having a certain desire is itself sinful. It might be broken. Again, I said we're all broken. It might be broken, but it isn't sinful unless we use those desires in a way that's contrary to God's teaching. Now, something to also be clear about, like even those who are attracted to the opposite sex, they can't enter into marriage if they knowingly cannot consummate a marriage. So the church says that is part and parcel to marriage. And so it isn't just that people who struggle with one type of desire, they are excluded, whereas others aren't. That the church is very clear and consistent on what really makes a marriage. And myself, as one who was asked by God not to marry, I understand the sacrifice of having to live celibacy, but I know that it's possible and that God can actually make it life-giving in some way. And so again, how does the church help us? Where there are groups called Courage, which are for people who struggle with same-sex attraction or sexual addictions or gender identity issues. And then Encourage, which is for their family members to help them. And then Living Waters, which is also helps to promote healthy understanding of our bodies and our sexuality. So Courage, Encourage, and Living Waters. And then finally, last topic we'll hit tonight is gender identity. There's a relationship between sex and gender. Sex is biological. Women have two X chromosomes, men have an X and a Y. Gender refers to words. Our gender didn't refer to like words and pronouns until the 1960s. Before that, it was related to sex. But when that got pulled apart, then gender could be something that was more defined by society instead of something that is defined by biology. And it's a heavy cross to have gender dysphoria, to believe that we might have been placed in the wrong body. But it's a cross that the church, that God, for whatever reason, is asking people to carry, and the church wants to walk alongside those who happen to have that cross. And some people might point to certain things that Pope Francis said and said, well, he therefore is saying that this is okay or that is okay. But just to be clear, Pope Francis was clear about this, that he decried, he spoke against the indoctrination of gender identity. So he saw it as a real problem in society. And if we lose that, then we lose being a father and a mother, a brother and a sister, a son and a daughter. And again, the church offers Courage and Encourage and Living Waters to help us. So I I'm sorry that all of these topics are kind of a cursory overview. Again, each of these could probably have their own class, but we don't have enough time in a year to do that. But again, I encourage you to use the resources that are on this paper to learn more, especially about topics that you might be curious about or just kind of struggle with the church's teaching on. And again, if you would like to talk more with me, I'm certainly open to doing that. So I appreciate your attention, and because we're close to the end of time, I'm just going to hand this back over to Richard to respect the rest of your time. But thank you.